Hey, Walter Sorrells here. Today we're going to discuss how to use this, a Japanese Scabbard Chisel or Nomi. So before we get started with a demonstration, let me just tell you a little bit about what this chisel is and what it's for. There are two things that distinguish a Scabbard chisel from pretty much any other normal chisel. Normally, chisels are just straight lines that are designed to cut straight. In two different ways, this chisel diverges from that. First, it's got a little bit of a kink or bend in it. The point of that is to allow you to keep your fingers off the work and not bung up your fingers while you're using the tool. The second feature is that if you look this way, you'll see that the back is rounded. And what that does then is when you sharpen the face of it flat, the geometrical implication of that is that it gives a rounded nose. Traditional European chisels that are made this way are called bullnose chisels. But the point of this particular setup is to make scabbards for Japanese swords. So here's the deal with the Japanese sword scabbard. It's a two-piece construction made from two pieces of wood, and basically you just carve out a little channel in each side that exactly fits the shape of the sword. Now, if you cut out a channel with a chisel, what naturally happens is that the chisel, if you have a normal straight chisel, it just dives into the work. And you get all kinds of splinters and problems, and that's no good. So the bullnose chisel, the Nomi, whatever you want to call this, is designed to basically just carve out little channels, and it does it amazingly efficiently. So the cool thing about them is they can be used for many, many things beyond Japanese swords. So in this video, I'm not going to cover anything about the actual construction of Japanese sword scabbards. This is purely just a super short little demo of how the actual chisel works. The general point here is that they can be used for carving, handles for Western hidden tang knives. You can carve channels and just anything you might want to carve a channel in, this tool will do it. So, all right, let's get to it, and we'll actually put something in the vise here and cut a few little channels in it, and you'll see how this actually works in practice. So as you can see with a conventional straight chisel, this is just a standard old store-bought chisel that I got out of my grandfather's toolkit. When you start chiseling with it, it just wants to dig in, and it's very hard to make a good channel without chipping things out. Now you can kind of come along here and chisel, 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 and then chisel this way, and it just takes a long time. So watch how much quicker this is. This, by the way, is the first chisel that I made like this many, many, many years ago. So this you might call a prototype for the ones that I'm actually selling. Now, of course, you have to be aware of the direction of the grain. If the grain is coming, in the wrong direction, this will still dig and chip. But as you can see, right here, I haven't made any little guidelines or anything. It's just going in. By just keeping it flat on the bottom here, I'm able to get a nice clean channel. Now, if you want to get edges of channels, you can take tiny little bits like this. You can go along the edges of channels this way. And as you can see, I'm removing things that, are dwarfed by a matchstick, just really, really fine slivers here. The technique that I use is to just rest my palm on here. And, depending on the texture of the wood, the type of wood that you're using, you may have to kind of go this way. or you might be able to just do nice, long, smooth shavings like that. And it's really, some of that's technique, but mostly it's just dependent on the nature of the wood that you're using. And I could just keep going here. Now, normally when I'm making a Japanese sword scabbard, I'm gonna cut little guidelines in so that I don't chip anything out. But, you know, I'm able to get a pretty nice, deep little channel here without doing any guidelines, without drawing anything, and it's just a very, very effective tool.
Incidentally, if you're interested in buying one of these chisels, you can purchase them off my website, waltersorrellsblades.com. They're also available from some knife making supply places like Pops. They're all hand forged individually. Each one's kind of got its own size and shape, different finishes, different handle materials. Most of them have either maple or walnut handles, but occasionally I'll throw something else in there. So they all have their own unique personality. Most of them are about 1 centimeter wide, but occasionally I also make a 1-inch chisel. I find the 1/2 inch or 1 centimeter size to be by far the most useful, but there's some advantages to using the larger ones also.
Now here I'm just doing a straight, more or less flat bottom channel, but let's say I wanted to go in at some kind of angle like this. I can just start working my way down like this. And this would be typically how you would do a Japanese sword scabbard. So the cutting edge of the sword would be along this side, and then the spine would be here. So you're able to easily carve in a little slant along there that the sword will lie nice and flat in. And of course, I could come along this back side, and I can really do whatever angle I want. You know, the Japanese sword has a little sort of triangular profile on the back, and you can do whatever angle that is very, very easily. If you want something that's, you know, let's say a 45-degree angle, easy to do that with the corner. You want to bring it back to 30 degrees, again, easy to adjust that. And I didn't even bother to sharpen this chisel before the demonstration. You know, it's reasonably sharp, but not crazy sharp. And it's really just not having any problems here at all. So that's the sort of thing that you can do with one of these chisels. So basically, you've got flat chiseling this way, and then you're using the corners this way. And you can work yourself, if you wanted to work into a corner like this, very easy to do that. It's just an amazingly versatile tool, and one that has applications way beyond Japanese swords. All right, guys, well, thanks for sticking with me through the whole little demonstration here. I hope you got a picture not only of how they can be used for making Japanese scabbards, but all kinds of other things too. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching, guys. If you like what we're doing here, please subscribe and make sure that you click on that bell so you get notified of all the latest videos. Want to buy a knife from me? Check out my modern blades at tacticsarmory.com. Digging the channel? You can support our video making efforts on Patreon. You know, I've been banging away on these videos for like 10 years, so I hope you'll show some love for all that hard work. Link in the cards and descriptions. Finally, if you're interested in making Japanese swords, check out my full line of Japanese sword videos where I show how to forge Japanese swords as well as how to polish them and how to make fittings, handles, and scabbards. WalterSorrellsBlades.com.